What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the October 16, 2021 edition of Talking Smack from Saturday. Usually I break down these episodes on Saturday or Sundays. It's been a busy weekend, so I'm getting to it on Monday, but better late than never. Kind of middle-of-the-road show this week from Jackie Redmond and Matt Camp, breaking down the supersized SmackDown from Friday. A night filled with great wrestling. I got into SmackDown late last night, got into it and analyzed all the matches and segments on the show, so check that out. It was a great night of wrestling, not only between SmackDown, but Rampage as well. I thought Rampage was a great show. Minoru Suzuki and Bryan Danielson, the Matt Sydal CM Punk show, or match rather, on the Rampage show from AEW, so some really good stuff on Friday. But let's get into Talking Smack from Saturday. They run down the biggest headlines from the show, and it was a somewhat newsworthy show. Every segment mattered, aside from the happy talk shit, which was terrible and completely pointless. But we got the advancement of the King of the Ring tournament, the Queen's Crown tournament, Brock and Roman, and the contract signing to close out the show, Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch. We got a great street fight for the SmackDown Tag Team titles between the Usos and the Street Profits. So, really good show, and promos from Edge and Rollins before their Hell in the Cell match at Crown Jewel this coming Thursday. Speaking of Matt Camp, or speaking of rather of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, their contract signing, Matt Camp, that's what I meant to say, talked about how Brock put the seed of doubt in Roman Reigns' mind with that line at the end there, at the end of the show, about how Heyman is his advocate and he was the one helping Brock oversee the contract earlier on in the day. And we haven't seen that little semblance of doubt in the mind of Reigns since he became Universal Champion over a year ago. So we'll get into that a little bit later on. But Jackie brings up how she was upset with what happened with Naomi on the show. She kind of got screwed. It was Sonya Deville and Naomi, supposed to be going one-on-one on SmackDown, until Sonya kind of ripped the rug right from underneath Naomi and said, it's going to be a 2-on-1 handicap match instead. So Sonya teamed up with Shayna Baszler. They double-teamed Naomi, and Naomi attempted to battle back to no avail. It was Sonya and Shayna picking up the victory, with Baszler doing a lot of the dirty work, of course. And then Sonya kind of picking up the scraps and pinning Naomi for the victory with her foot on her, no less. And Matt Camp says that he likes this more well-rounded version of Sonya Deville. She can be an authority figure while also being an in-ring superstar. We were supposed to get an interview with Sonya here on the show, with Kayla Braxton interviewing her backstage at SmackDown. And she simply said the fans were surprised by her victory, albeit by the way that it came about. And Sonya cut her off before she could even ask a question, was offended by that, and then pretended to get a phone call and walked off. So that was all that we heard from Sonya here on Talking Smack. Matt and Jackie recap the Carmella versus Zelina Vega match on the show, where the winner would advance to the finals of the Queen's Crown tournament in Saudi Arabia at Crown Jewel. Really not much of a match. Liv Morgan got involved. So we hear from Zelina Vega, who gets called an underdog by Matt Camp. And I guess she's the underdog against either Doudrop or Baszler, which she absolutely is. And Vega winning wouldn't be terrible, but when you have Shayna Baszler in the tournament, why wouldn't she win? So she is absolutely the underdog, and Matt Camp says that she would not take that as a compliment. But we hear from actually Zelina backstage at SmackDown with Megan Morant, and they talk about how, Vega brings up, it wasn't Megan Morant, it was Kayla Braxton, because they had that little poem there at the end, which I'll get to in a second. But Vega says that everything that she's gone through up to this point, from beating Toni Storm in the first round to beating one of her best friends, aka her frenemy, as she called her last week on this show, she called her one of her best friends. Not sure which exactly it is. That being Carmella in the second round. That goes to show how much this tournament means to Zelina Vega. It doesn't show how much the tournament means to WWE, because they've completely have shortchanged all these matches for the women in this tournament, which is complete bullshit, but that's not my point here. Vega gets to how it doesn't really matter who she faces in the finals. It doesn't matter if it's Shayna Baszler. It doesn't matter if it's Doudrop. She's going to emerge victorious in her opinion, no matter what. And she says that people should not be underestimating her. And then before Kayla closes out the interview, she pulls out her phone and says, well, Zelina, you're going to Raw. I've enjoyed working with you. Of course, she says this tongue-in-cheek, very sarcastically. And she reads her a poem that she wrote up herself. And she says that she'll always find her no matter what. That's what she ended with. And Zelina Vega gets very creeped out by this and walks off. So I love the chemistry that Kayla has with a lot of people here on Talking Smack. She's not hosting the show anymore, but the way she interviews Heyman and Vega and all these other people is just great. And especially with the heel, she's awesome. So I thought that was funny. Matt Camp says that Balor is looking great. He's got momentum on his side, heading into the finals of the King of the Ring tournament following his hard-fought victory over Sami Zayn on SmackDown. And it's hard to not call him the favorite with how much momentum he has on his side right now as he heads over to the Raw brand post-draft. We actually hear from, Matt Camp says we don't hear from Finn Balor. I think they did a WWE.com exclusive video with him after the show. It's on their YouTube channel. Camp just says it doesn't matter, a lot like with Vega. It doesn't matter who he faces in the finals. Xavier Woods has that sentimental reason to want to win with him kind of getting into wrestling because of King of the Ring. So I really want Xavier to advance then on Raw. I doubt that he will. I think it's going to be Jinder, but we have Jinder versus Xavier tonight with the winner facing Finn Balor in the finals this Thursday at Crown Jewel. And they also mentioned the possibility of the Demon coming back in the finals. Now, after what happened at Extreme Rules, I thought we would never get any talk of the Demon again. I thought they killed that character dead at the pay-per-view last month. But they mentioned the possibility of Balor bringing back the Demon for the pay-per-view. I don't think that he will. I don't think that he should. I don't think that he needs to. The last time he was in Saudi Arabia, he was the Demon. He faced Andrade in an Intercontinental Championship match and beat him. So, I could see the Saudi King or whoever wanting the Demon on the show. Maybe that rinses away the sour taste that was left in our mouths following the awful Extreme Rules ending. Maybe. I still don't think it's necessary. I think a Balor versus Woods or Balor versus Mahal match, God forbid, is just fine without the Demon being involved. So, especially if Woods is in there. Woods is not beating the fucking Demon. I doubt Jinder is either. I know Roman Reigns beat the Demon, but beyond that, and Samoa Joe in NXT, no one else has beaten the Demon in WWE. So I would just keep the Demon out of it. I don't think we need to see the Demon in WWE for a very long time after Extreme Rules. I think that kind of killed the possibility of that becoming a regular thing with how they handle it on that show. I'm good on that. They replayed the Edge and Seth Rollins promos from SmackDown, both of which I thought were great. Edge's was stronger. The Rollins stuff isn't for everyone. I understand that he actually was here on Talking Smack, which I'll mention in a minute. But I thought his promo on SmackDown was good enough, and Edge's was just great. Edge is one of the best talkers in the entire company. It's not even close. The guy's excellent. We don't hear from Edge here on Talking Smack, but we do hear from Rollins himself, who acknowledges the Harley Quinn comparisons with his jacket. According to him, anyway, he didn't do that intentionally when he bought the suit and the pants and whatever, when he bought the whole outfit. He didn't have that in mind, thinking it would be compared to Harley Quinn, but the crowd started chanting it, so he acknowledged it here, and he could see the comparisons between the two. Obviously, completely in character here. He says that Edge is afraid of him, and that's why he challenged him to a Hell in a Cell match, so he can have that structure, that security blanket or whatever. But little does Edge know, according to Rollins, that Rollins has actually spent more time at said Hell in a Cell. That being 3 Hell in a Cell matches from 2014, 2016, and 2019 against Dean Ambrose, Kevin Owens, and The Fiend Bray Wyatt back in 2019. One of the worst matches I've ever fucking seen. One of the worst pay-per-view endings I have also ever seen. And he proves that, he says, that he can be more dangerous inside the cell than Edge. He's going to prove that on Thursday. He says, just go out of your way and ask the people that I've beaten. Oh, wait a second. 2 of the 3 people I've beaten aren't here anymore, or don't work here anymore. I forgot what he said exactly. Kind of making fun of the fact that Ambrose and Wyatt are no longer in WWE. And Kevin Owens probably won't be either. Just give him another couple of months. He probably won't be in WWE more either. And he might be joining Ambrose and that other company that Rollins did not mention here. But that's where he's been for the last couple of years. He says this might be it for him at Crown Jewel. This might be it for Edge, that is, not Rollins. If he can kind of put him out once and for all. And Matt Camp alludes to how Edge left MSG in their second match on SmackDown last month on a stretcher. He lost the match, and he left on a stretcher. So Edge has got to be careful. They also replayed the contract signing between Brock and Roman from SmackDown before running in the Crown Jewel card for Thursday, every match from both Raw and SmackDown. So solid edition of Talking Smack for this week, nothing too overly eventful. The Rollins promo was interesting. If you don't like the Rollins character, you're probably going to fucking hate it. The Vegas stuff was fine, and I thought the Sonya promo was completely pointless, but a decent edition of Talking Smack here, recapping a very eventful SmackDown leading into Crown Jewel on Thursday. Thank you guys for checking out this video. I appreciate it. We do the Talking Smack reviews every single week. I'll be doing a Raw Talk review tomorrow. We got Q&A videos. We do predictions, reviews, Dark Side of the Ring reviews, Marvel reviews, and so much more. We actually have a lot of interviews going up this week. We had Roman Reigns go up a few days ago on Friday. We got Sasha Banks on I think Wednesday of this week. It was supposed to be Tuesday. We bumped it to Wednesday. The NXT North American Champion Carmelo Hayes. He's going to be coming up here on the channel tomorrow. So a lot of stuff going on. Be sure to subscribe and never miss a video by hitting that bell button to catch every video as soon as they're uploaded here to the channel. I would appreciate that. So have an awesome week, guys. Appreciate your support. Have a great one. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.